So this one is for Don, who probably just went to bed because he had a really good show, and I think he was asking the question, why do they want to get rid of the Board of Education? So, Von, what do you think?
I think they want to get rid of the Department of Education because what the president said, I love the uneducated. Because when you're uneducated, you don't fight against the enemy, who the real enemy is.
Well, we know who the most uneducated. It's been revealed who's the most uneducated, right?
Yeah, we have the most uneducated people.
Well, he got a whole staff of folks. That's what
he got a whole staff of folks, useful idiots that are Russian assets that are fully educated.
And you know what's really crazy? What's crazy is, what do, Devon? We head over to where?
We head over to the library and we read a lot.
And then what happens to us when we say, people tell us, well, they're going to close the library down? What you tell them?
I tell them, go to Audible. There are a lot of different ways. There are a lot of different methods. If you close the library and you lose that, there are other ways. Go to audiobooks instead.
But you know what? See, you remember when I had to jump one of my friends' butt, and she was talking about getting rid of education and the library? Told her, what was the last book you read? I don't remember you reading no book. I don't remember her going to the library. Show me your library card. As they say, show me the what? Show me the receipts. So if you out there crying about the education and you haven't put forth any effort to basically educate yourself, hell, I didn't go to Yale and Harvard and all these places.
No,
But I took the time out of my life to what?
I try out to read and educate myself. I'm every day.
And what do I call you, Vaughn? I always say you are the what?
The greatest teacher and the greatest emperor, my mentor and greatest teacher.
And what do I also call you? The
masterful educator.
The masterful educator, the master teacher, right?
Right.
And I say I am what?
Sensei.
Because you've been teaching me a lot. So we just had to tell Don, why they trying to get rid of that, because they don't want us. We didn't outsmarted them. I know this is a time that we all feel like things look really bad, but we got skills, we got tools. You don't give up. You got all that education. We can put it to use. But the very thing that we have to put to use, we got to understand that we can't go back. Just like Hamlet said, we can't go back.
No, we can't go back. And by getting rid of the Department of Education and saying under inclusion, diversity, and equity, what they're really trying to do is go back to the days of slavery and eventually losing our citizenship ourselves. It starts with the immigration first, and then it's going to African Americans next.
And what amendment was that they said that they was going to try to, it starts with immigrants, and then that amendment was
They're going to the 14th Amendment of the United States. And the 14th Amendment of the United States was the children of slaves. So if they allowed this to get rid of the migrants of the 14th Amendment, not only migrants will lose their citizenship, but 40 million African Americans that were born in the United States is going to lose their citizenship. 40 million people.
And see, Don,
40 million African Americans.
See, the best tool that we've ever had was our books. Was it a week ago? Somebody had broken into my shed, and I walked down there, and shit was missing all over the place.
The movies,
yeah, all kind of stuff. But
what they don't steal is they don't steal the books.
They never stole one book, and I was so happy they didn't steal my books. Cause boy, I would have been calling a SWAT team on them. I'm serious. I would have been calling them out. Helicopters would have been flying all over the place. They would have thought this was the third movie of Boys in the Hood. Okay, but just to let people know that the educational system has to go, because they want to indoctrinate us with all of their what
they call white supremacist ideology. And now if you get rid of the Department of Education, you also discriminate against unique abilities, because what is really about is privatizing education. Okay,
let's back it up. They may not know what a unique ability is. It's what our society call what?
Society calls people that think differently than most people, than the average quote-unquote normal person.
We said You are unable to be
You're
what?
unable to be disabled in a zero tolerance zone. That's what a unique ability really is.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening if you get rid of Department of Education.
They don't want to educate the people that they call normal. And we found out how many people was normal. We found out that a lot of us really is not the part, as we saying, the tech bros, because on the tech bro side, if Elon Musk would have knew that, all the little things that he tore up and everybody was going to come out against him, I don't think Elon would have did that. But that shows Elon's intelligence, because like you said,
He ain't no genius.
no. And he's the most what?
He's the most hated man, not just in the United States. He's the most hated man in the world.
I just want to give Bulwark and all the people over there that, this G over here, I've never been with the what?
Well, you never been with the older crowd.
What did you say we had to do tonight?
We were going to the Democratic meeting tonight, but we may or may not make it.
Yeah, we may or may not make it, but
That was one of those things when I say take over your party as your clothes, but there's not a lot of young folks who participating either, which that's a problem right there.
And one of the disturbing things for me is that, I don't get me wrong. Like I said, I just had a birthday and I turned 70, but my heart is a lot younger, has always been a lot younger. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and talking about the amygdala. I'm not going to sit up here and talk about the frontal lobe. I'm not going to talk about gray and white matter. What matters is that we matter. We the people matter. And we're not going to wait till the Democrats try to save us, because we are the opposition. And we have to get out there and fight for what we believe in. Because if we wait for if we wait for Chuck Schumer, which already have done us in, and he's back in the day. Chuck is back in the day. Clyburn is back in the day. Well, I can't do back in the day. Whenever I talk, what do I always say, Boo?
We talk about from this time on, from this day forward.
From this day forward. And another thing, too, is our generation, my generation, has failed to do what?
They failed to prepare the other generations, like the baby boomers and the Gen Xers.
Well, when people was out there complaining about, we got to take care of the baby boomers, and, people say, well, they did what they had to do, but they weren't financially educated. Well, God, look at all the people that's financially educated, and with the snap of a pen, and because it's not an auto pen, then here's a person that's signing everybody's life away, and all their money gonna get taken, right? But I would appreciate if bro would sit up there and ask, and say, well, I'm giving this executive order, and I did read it. I didn't just sign it. I know what it consists of. That's not what's happening. It's not what happened. And I just loved laughing at Stephen Miller today.
What a poor guy, Stephen Miller. Oh no, and he's just mad at the Hispanic community because when he was back in high school, okay, a Hispanic woman rejected Stephen Miller for another Hispanic male. That's how he hated Hispanic people.
Well, whether he got his girlfriend or not, you know how that works. But the educational system is something that has really got up under their skin, because we may have surpassed them in knowledge. I can think in all my now 70 years of life, I have never walked down the street and say, I'm supreme. I'm smarter than you. I've never done that, Vaughn.
The Kristen Freeland effect. Mr. Speaker.
And you know what is even crazier? Let me tell you. When I did my it wasn't no little. When I did my cancer journey, and I got up there in the hospital, I thought the women would be a little bit sympathetic.
They were not sympathetic, not empathetic. As a matter of fact, it was also a class war, too, because we tell this story. When this attorney said, I thought cancer was for poor people, and you're poor. I'm an attorney. Cancer don't care about your race. Cancer don't care about your income, and they don't care about your disability or not.
And that's what one of the women on the floor told me. She was an attorney. I guess I just deserved to have the disease and die because I wasn't supreme. Okay? But that's what I'm telling you guys today. We're looking at your channels. We're going to come out here and we're going to be your national cheerleaders. Because for one thing, like I said, this G is in this moment in time. And that's the only way you can survive. That's the only way you can get up on a camera or on YouTube. Because look at the name, YouTube. YouTube make you responsible for your shit, right? If you don't get out here and make videos, then I guess you won't get paid. And see, when I use the word you, they say you're being accusatory. That's what you're being. Just plain accusatory.
You're interrogating me. Yep.
Yes. And I can say, you all are trying to end the education. And we know why you're trying to do it.
They're trying to wipe out anything to do with inclusion because they want to put blacks back in their place and women back. They want women back in the kitchen, and they want black folks back into slavery, or worse, losing your not even citizens. So I even said to black folks, there's only 3 things that blacks can do immediately. 1, educate yourself if you can. 2, start an entrepreneur as much as you can. And number 3, dual citizenship as much as you can, because you're about to lose your citizenship because of the Supreme Court.
Well, the way the planes haven't been really sticking up in the air, and now we saw a couple of cruise ships going down. It look like we might be stuck here for a minute.
But we may not be stuck here for long, because here's the problem. We may be losing our citizenship if the interpretation of the 14th Amendment. We'll be deported with the Mexicans if this continues.
Snatched off the street?
Yes, we're going to be snatched off the street and into the next concentration camp, which is Guantanamo Bay. It is going to be the new Auschwitz. It is going to be the Caribbean Auschwitz. It's going to be Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
So he can go and build up in Gaza's land and take it and make it a resort, while we have to be what? In prison? What, over here?
Over here, or El Salvador is another place.
So
has another Auschwitz, another concentration camps.
So just looking at everything, and since all of the tech bros or tech hoes or whatever you want to call them came out.
I say tech hoes.
Well, tech hoes, they then all came out. And what we found out is they're not that smart. You know why? Because think about this. They may create things, but they are not the creator. And if you know who the creator is, well, he even listened to people that went against the grain. And for the tech hoes, they took the A alpha atheists, the A alpha agnostics. Does it have an A behind?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They don't believe in nothing and nobody but themselves. But they are not they're not the creator. They just create things.
They just create things and break things and don't know how to fix things. And their speed is move fast and break things. That is their mental model.
And if they were so smart, they would fix our country and put it back together. But they broke it, but they don't know how to put it back together.
Or they don't want to do it, or they just create a new system which is worse than the before. That's what they do. Like Christopher Darwin, that was Peter Thiel's advisor.
Well, and as far as the educational system, it wasn't always going to a school or learning, We have to take the time out our day, because I remember Pharrell was sitting in the chair and the look on his face was priceless. And he said, you know what we got to do? It all comes back to us, to having our own, to not be dependent on certain people, to get us out of,
Not on people, but on certain systems too, and build your own systems with proper planning. And think of the consequences as well.
And look what, like I said, after what Chuck Schumer did, and he tried to get there and explain himself, Chuck, baby, we not buying that. Because we know.
We know that is some bullshit. That's what it really is.
And we know that you want to be back in the day. You want the old Republican system back. I didn't like that system.
I didn't like that system even then. They were even racist. You just want the hidden system. That's what you want, Senator Schumer.
I was so happy that my friends were not only as they say DEI diverse, LGBTQ alphabet what soup whatever. I love it. I loved every minute of it, and because I was always looking for something new. You know, as they say, you keep learning, and if you keep living, you're gonna keep learning, and if you stop learning, what you gonna do?
When you stop learning, you die. You just spiritually die. You just die. You just wrote yourself to the grave without really literally burying yourself. You just die at an emotional and spiritual level.
So, gang, don't give up. I know it's hard. I went through a lot of these hard times myself, and be fighters. But do not depend on the Democrats to pull it off, because they've already showed you, And Pelosi, I got something for you. Don, that should be another topic, a hot topic for you. But on that note, that's our spin on why they want to get rid of the educational system, because you know what? All those books are out there, all those receipts, and we're learning about them. They want to they want to tear up everything, get rid of everything, especially when it comes to us. But, I'm advising you all to read as much as you can, and especially grab some medical books, because we got RFK in there.
RFK as Secretary of Health and Human Services, which is going to destroy your health.
So
that's going to be really dangerous. So reading health books, mental and physical health, is going to be very, very important to keep you alive, especially with RFK of Health and Human Secretary, more like the killer secretary.
And we're gonna get through this. I'm absolutely sure we're gonna get through this.
We got to get through it with the right people, and it starts with the man in the mirror, which is yourself. Do not rely on any politician, especially corporate Democrats.
And the constitutional crisis had started a long time ago, when man had decided that they wanted to be God. That's the constitutional crisis right there. When men decided that, you know what, we don't care about these other people down here. We're going to do what we want to do. It's kind of like Addams Family too. We do what we want to do, say what we want. We're the Addams Family. Who was the...
That was MC Hammer.
Right. The songs are there. They're all in place, and we just have to listen. And on that note, we just want Don to wake up and knowing that, everybody is not boogieing for back in the day. Because like I said, I was so glad to be in this moment in time. Just so happy. And so happy to have the friends that I have. So happy to learn as much as I have, and learn from a lot of young people. See, that's another thing that makes us older. We refuse to learn from the younger generation because we think we know everything, and we don't. And you all learn at a much faster rate. And I respect that. Oh, I couldn't hardly wait when I got ready to retire. I was training everybody. I didn't have no fear of you taking my job. Come on and get the job.
Because we don't want it. I'm sick of the job, and we don't want it anyway.
Right. I was sick of it. I wanted them to be the best that they could be, and me step out and, as they say, be cruising. So once again, on the educational note, it might be frightening to them to look over there and see that not only have we might surpass them in sports, we might have surpassed them in the dance sector, or we might have passed them in developing the friends and relationships. We passed them in the educational system too, because
and entrepreneurial system as well. We surpassed them, and when they don't like being surpassed
at all. So one day, maybe Don and your crew could walk down the street and say, I'm a black supremacist. Go get your hoodie and your black sheet and your black head cover, and do it like they do it.
Or wear some dreads, which was a freedom map. It was actually a freedom map.
So what do you think, Vaughn? You think that Don could wake up and hear our spin on the education?
Yeah, Don's going to hear it, because our spin on the educational system, they're trying to wipe us. They're trying to wipe blacks and unique abilities out. And people that tell the truth out. They will view guys like us as threats, and especially me as threats.
Are you a threat, boo-boo?
As intellectual, I will be proud to be threats.
That's right. You kill them. And see, that's another thing. We suffer from, what's that syndrome?
Telling the truth, the truth by no fault.
Yeah.
And they're trying to wipe us out.
Not the truth by no fault. It's another syndrome. That when people don't think that they're good enough, when people...
The imposter syndrome.
Yes, we suffer from imposter syndrome. So when you feeling it and you feel like you can get up there and you could tell somebody, I'm better than you, because they've been doing it for years.
They have. They've always been doing that for years.
They've been telling people, I'm better than you. They had that cash system. Hey, let's throw out some fishing lines and get some cash going on. You know,
and we're going to have a new cash system.
We're just as good, and we're pretty educated. Even if we don't have Yale or Harvard or Princeton over our names, we can learn. We can learn. And
sometimes we're even better than the people that learn at Harvard and Yale, too.
You know, number 44 did say, he said, I hope my boy didn't get this age, and he didn't quite say it like this. I hope he didn't get this age and then turn out to be this damn stupid. He said he sat at the table with many people. And he said, they may not be who you think they are. Because once you sit down with them, you find out, oh, they ain't that damn smart. They look smart on paper in the magazines and all that, but
when you sit them next to that person without their staff, they ain't that smart and intelligent at all.
Haven't Elon showed us? When you get on the camera and get to boo-hooing, and he set the scenario for all of this, and everybody was looking up to Elon, and he was...
I didn't look up to Elon. I looked at him as a fraud from the beginning when he stole Tesla from the beginning, and how he did PayPal with Peter Thiel from the beginning. I didn't worship Elon Musk from the beginning.
Thank you, Von, for telling us. Now you should say black power. Power to the people.
Yeah. I didn't buy him from the beginning.
Well, Elon's suffering. And you know what? He brought it on himself. And we don't feel sorry for him. And now...
When you're cutting our Social Security, cutting Medicare for those that's not with you, no, I don't feel sorry for you, not one bit.
Okay, and now everybody has to realize that all these bros came out, revealed themselves, and now we know you're not that smart. We see it, you know, and maybe that's why they want to tear the educational system down, to keep us from what? Advancing. And we're already there. Do not doubt yourself. Tout, beat on your chest. Do what you have to do. Feel good about yourself. You are enough. You're more than enough, okay? And keep it moving forward. And on that note, we will be back. Vaughn, you got the last word on this one.
My last word to it is educate yourself, even without the Department of Education, and don't be relying on other people. You are your own rescue. The Democrats ain't going to save... Now, I'm going to say this. The corporate Democrats are not going to save you. The neoliberals are not going to save you. You got to save yourself. And don't be waiting for other people to ask you to do something, like run for office. Do it yourself. Recruit your damn self.
And make sure, give him the number, Vaughn, because we calling on Chuck Schumer. Chuck, we ain't buying.
And here's the number for this. Call 202-224-3121. And we're going to call to ask for Democratic senators to call for Chuck Schumer to resign, not only as minority leader, but resign from the United States Senate.
Absolutely. Chuck, you're done. And on that note, we're out.